Hello! You'll have to excuse my voice being a bit crackly. That's one of the reasons for this video. 2 days ago, I had, my wife as well, had our first of the Covid vaccinations. And I recommend that you all go and have them too. We had the AstraZeneca jab. My wife is clinically vulnerable. I'm her carer. That's how we got ours. We're also in the current age bracket to be having our jabs. Super efficient. So we had, my wife had a time, I had the exact 5 minute slot after, walked in, they showed us lovely, made us change the mask. So even if you take a mask, they ask you to change the mask into one. They make you use alcohol gel. You stand there. They check if you've had exposure to COVID, negative test, or been having any symptoms, and then you're allowed in to the building. You go around, you wait with two different people as they shuffle you through, and the moment a desk becomes free, you go over to it at the desk, you give them your NHS number, name, address, confirm who you are basically, just so they know. I've been told they're encouraging people that are maybe nefariously in the United Kingdom to come forward. So, and I asked one of the volunteers about this, and if you were, say, not meant to be here, but you did book yourself in, they wouldn't ask any questions. They just want to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated. It's more important that you get vaccinated, and therefore do not cost the NHS or the company, or the country rather, any money. So don't worry about that, but it's better if you can, because they can check allergies, they can check information, they can check everything's okay, which was important for my wife. It was important for me as well, because I actually have an allergy. They had to check whether it was okay for that allergy, and it is. So, had the jab at just after lunchtime yesterday, and it's, I had it in my left arm. I'm a right-handed person that had it in my left arm, so I had it in my non-dominant arm. Literally, I said, I'm not going to look. I didn't look. Done. I did not know it had been done. I felt a tiny, tiny bit of pressure. Literally that. Nothing. And the reason I'm pressing there is that that is actually a little bit tender now. So what happened was, initially, it was a bit fine. As a driver, I was asked not to drive for 15 minutes after the jab, just to go and sit in my car and wait. They checked me into the place, they checked me out of the place, done. It took minutes. Sat in the car and then came home. Initial thing after about 4 hours was a numbing sensation here in the arm, in the muscle itself, and it went down to the point of my elbow. It wasn't like, you know, when you hit your funny bone, but it was kind of like, you know, you'd hit your funny bone at some point and it still kind of tingles. It was numb, okay? Like I'd laid on it in the night, but my arm was fine. Then we went to sleep that night and we had the worst night's sleep we've ever had. Both me and the wife were both disturbed in the night. We've spoke to our mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, she had the same thing. She had a very disturbed night as well. All three of us report that we had a headache. Not a terrible headache, but one that made you know it was there. The other thing that I had was like a rushing sensation around my belly and in my kidneys. And I didn't like that. It made me feel I didn't want to eat. It made me a bit, I did just been terrible today. I'm over the hump right now. Paracetamol and ibuprofen. So I had paracetamol at about 4 AM when I was woken up with a banging headache. Then I had a pint of water, I think, at 6 AM. And then I went back to sleep. I then tried to get up for work at 8 and was utterly, completely out of it. I felt dreadful. I did not like it up. Achy bone feeling, this swirling problem. Had another set of paracetamol and I went back to bed. Meanwhile, the wife, who was on paracetamol as well, she had a raging temperature. She was sweating. She felt really kind of unwell with the heat of it. She like almost like a fever. We both agree that we've had very similar symptoms in some areas, but very different in others. So yeah, that's why you've not heard from me in a few days. We've been prepping for that. We're ready for that. It's been a bit of a shock that knocked us off the feet. Now, interestingly, my father-in-law said, "Oh, it didn't affect me. It didn't affect me." After the fact, we heard, yeah, that he didn't sleep well either, and he had a really bad headache that day. So very similar. The headache and the bad sleep directly after seem to be common. Other things I've had, people have said they've been dizzy, but I wasn't dizzy. People have said they've had like blurred vision. I didn't have blurred vision, but I definitely knew it was there in my arm. That was the overall thing. I still feel now, and I don't really want to lift my arm. With that, I can feel that stretching here in the muscle. I can feel it, and I don't like it. It just feels awkward. But yeah, 8 to 10 hours after, in the night, it woke me up. I felt rough, headache. So if you're going to get your jab, get a packet of paracetamol beforehand. Hydrate up, but it's well worth it. So I had the AstraZeneca jab. I've heard similar, but I've heard varying symptoms with the Pfizer jab from different people. But yeah, go out there, folks, and let's beat this thing together.